Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome to our second PU Computer Science online classes. In last class we know that some of the important application in networking, SMS, short message service, and also about our chat, video conferencing, and the Wi-Fi wireless fidelity, and also last one is the Wi-Fi hotspot. Correct, no? Okay. Now in today's class we are going to discuss some important concept, that is the network security. So in this case we can say that the networking offers the endless possibilities and opportunities to every user. There is no any doubt. Whatever the information you want, you can access anytime, or any information you can access. Correct, no? Anytime you want. So it offering some of the possibility and opportunity to the every users. But also we can say this consensus, the meaning of the consensus, belief. Okay, the belief or the consensus is not free from, or any networking benefit is not free from risk. As networking concept or the networking contain a many type of the risk, as many a risk is that to our network security. Correct, no? In this case here, so our belief is that there is no any problem, anytime we can access any information through the network. But also we can say that whatever is there, maybe the belief is there, or maybe the endless benefit of the network is not, that means it should contain some of the risk, as our network security is not called as it is a free of risk in this case here. So the networking, or while ensuring the network security, the concern, that means the user are to make sure that only the legal or the authorized user and program gain access to the information resources like the database. Clear this meaning whatever I am going to tell here, that means I am telling whatever the information is that just only the authorized person should access all those information. He should be a legal person. Okay here, so maybe any concern or the user are to make sure that the legal or the authorized user, that means he should have the legal ID and the password here, and also the programs gain access to the information resources, whatever the resources is that from the database here. And not just only the legal person need to access all those information through the network or the internet here. Also we can say that some of the control mechanism are need to be set up. Correct, no? Not just only this point is enough, we can say that some other point we need to take careful here. We need to take in a care manner, that is some of the networking or some of the controlling mechanisms are need to be set up here, just to ensure that here properly authenticated user just gain access only those resources that are entitled to use here. Maybe if any resources is there, then only we can go to access all those information from the computer or from the internet. If such information or if such material is not there, is it able to access such information? No, we can't. So here we can say that this second one is we need to set up some of the control mechanism. That means here the authenticated user get access only those resources that they are used to, or that they are entitled to use. So under this type of network security, some of the mechanisms like the authorization, authentication, and maybe the encrypted smart card here, biometric system, and also we can say that the firewalls are need to be implemented. Clear this point here? So what about, so all those are that means techniques, and by using such a technique it possible to provide security to the network. So as we know that network means sure the data going to pass pass from one to another. So whatever the data going to pass from one computer to another, such information should be able to access only to our authorized user. There is no work of any unauthorized user. The unauthorized user only called as the hackers of the computer. That means they don't know any legal ID or the password. Just by guessing the password, they are going to hack all those information from the computer here. So if we are using all those techniques, we can easily protect to our, or we can very easily secure to our networking or the network security here. Okay. Now next thing, before going to start, maybe the protection method, each and everything. Why? Because now just only I stopped in this case here under network security. Some of the techniques, some of the security mechanisms we need to use. I already explained all those are the security mechanism. But before going to explain all those security mechanism, let's some of the problems. So the problems under the network security can be summarized as follows. So sometimes the problem going to occur in between or under the network security. So what are the problem going to occur in our network security? The first problem is the physical security holes. Okay. The second problem is the software security holes, and the third problem is the inconsistent usage holes. Now the first one is about physical security holes here. So in this case we know that when individual, that means gain unauthorized access to a computer. So I already explained he is not an authorized person. I completed with the word, that is the individual gain unauthorized access to a computer. That means he is a authorized person. He don't know the legal ID. He don't have a legal ID and the password here. Just by guessing he is going to access all those information from the network. So we can say that when individual gain unauthorized access to a computer and such a person temper the files here, that means accessing the files in this case here, and that means such work is done by our hackers. So the hackers do it just by guessing the password of the different network or different computers, correct? No, and then gaining access to the network system. So clear this point. So this type of problem is called as the physical security hole. So clear the point of the physical security hole. That means here very simply, in simple manner, we can say that one individual person and such person is not a authorized person. He is a unauthorized person here, and such person called as the hackers here, and just he know how to hack, how to access the information. That means just by guessing the password here, maybe by using any other work here, it just accessing all those password and legal ID from the computer and going to access all information through the network. Clear? So this is called as the problem happen, and such problem is called as the physical security holes here. And later next one is the software security holes. So in this case, the software security holes, when you are going to use the badly written software, the badly written programs here, clear this point here, are compromised. That means should be doing something but that should not be doing. That means maybe if you are going to purchase any software, and before that, before the purchase, we know that such a software, perfect software is there, and by using such a software it possible to provide, to give some security to the network. So because of this we are going to purchase such a software here. But also after the purchasing of the software and after installing all such a software just to provide security to the network, so whatever the thing is there or whatever the advantage is there about the software, it's not going to do perfectly their work here. So this problem is called as the software security holes here. So clear this point here. So we can say that when you are going to use the badly written software or maybe the badly written programs in this case here are compromised to doing some work here, but that should not be doing in this case here. So this is the meaning about our software security holes. So clear this point, the meaning of the software security holes. Okay, now later next one is the inconsistent usage holes here. So when you are going to use a badly hardware and software, the combination of hardware, or when a system administrator assembles a badly hardware or maybe the combination of hardware and software which is is not proper, that means surely it very seriously affected from the security point of view, and such problem is called as the inconsistent usage holes here. So clear this point. What about the all those problems going to occur just to provide the security to the network. That means we need to use, that means maybe whatever the person is that such a person should be a authorized person. It's not possible any information should accessed by our unauthorized person. If any unauthorized person going to access any information from the network, such problem is called as the physical security holes here. And software means if you are not going to use a proper software, so whatever the work should done by our software, it is not going to do such work here. That means maybe some problem going to occur. Such problem is called as the software security holes here. And lastly, when you are going to use not proper a combination of the hardware and software, that means also such a badly hardware and software sure going to affect from a security point of view to our networking. Clear this one. And such problem is called as the inconsistent usage holes here. Now let's about one, after completing some of the problems can occur or encountered under the network security, we know that about this one. Now let's whatever the mechanism or the protection methods we need to use just to give security to our network. That means here only the authorized person only going to access any information through the network, and if any person unauthorized person going to access any information, that means we can say that there is no any security is there to our network. Correct? No? Okay. Now let's the first thing about our protection methods here. So the first protection method is the authorization. Okay. Now what about the authorization? So this authorization determines the whatever the whether the web server, that means whatever the service provided by our service provider has granted right or has granted access to our web service to the requester. Clear this point here. So here just only I want to tell some of the information is there in our web service. Okay, here in our web service provider, as we know that who is called as the web service provider, that means all such information is there in our web service here, and such a provider just transferring the service to our requester in this case. So we can say in this case here it determines or whether the web service provider has granted access to the web service to the requester. First of all, we should know whether any information that is provided by our web service provider to the requester here. So in this case our authorization is asked, the authorization means or is authorization is performed by asking some of the legal login ID. So what about the authorization, which is called as the authorization? Maybe the service provider asking any type of the legal login ID to the requester. So if the user able to provide a legal login ID, the he or she considered to be an authorized user. So clear this point. As we know that requester wants some of the information, they want to access some of the information from the service provider here. So before going to give any information to the authorized to any user here, okay, first of all the service provider asking some of the legal login ID from the requester here. So if the user able to provide a legal login ID, then such person is called as the authorized user, that is called as the authorization. Clear this one? About the authorization. Okay, now after the authorization, now let's about our authentication. So as we know that here the authentication means it ensures that in this case here may be any kind of the information. So each entity involved in the web service, that means what are the persons we need to use to access any information through the web service here. So we can say that it ensures that the each entity involved in the accessing of the web service here, maybe the requester, correct, no, or maybe the service provider, or maybe any broker, if if anyone is there here, so maybe if they are going to give any information to any unauthorized user means is what is actually claims to be. Clear this point here? That means here very simply we can say that maybe some information just only we provided such information that is from the web service to the requester, or maybe any information that is passed to the web service provider here, or maybe if any information that is passed to our broker. If anyone just passing such information to any authorized person means it's okay, but if they passing any information to our unauthorized person, that means maybe if any problem occur means such person is responsible, or such person is what is actually claims to be here. So in this case, the authentication also termed as password protection. Clear this point here? The authentication is called as the password protection in this case here. So here we can say that means maybe if any person want to, or the authorized user want to access any information from the web service, then sure such person, first of all they are going to ask a legal valid password. Clear this point here? If such person able to provide a legal password, valid password, then such person is considered to be an authenticated user. Clear this point? What about the authentication or the authorization? That means here first of all before going to pass any information, such person they need to ask some of the legal login ID. Such person is called as the authorization. Authentication means from this person the web service is going to ask some of the information, and if such person passing some of the legal valid password, then such person is considered as the authenticated user. Clear? So this is the authorization and the authentication. And later next one is about our encrypted smart card. So what about the encrypted smart card? Is a handheld smart card. Clear this one? Like our ATM card. Correct now here? So like that only it is a small, or we can say that it is a handheld smart card in this case here, and such a smart card generate some kind of the token, and such a token only the computer can recognize. Clear this point here? So every time a new and different type of the token number to be generated when you are going to use the encrypted smart card from time to time. Maybe from today we will get one type of the token number, maybe if you are using tomorrow you will get the another type of the token number. From time to time or every time or different time it providing some of the different token number. So because of this the hackers and the crackers cannot be used further. Clear this one? Maybe the hackers of the computer or maybe any cracker, later words let's see the meaning of the hackers and the crackers. That means no one, only the authorized person can use such a encrypted smart card. So instead of this one no one can use such a smart card. That means we know that maybe after accessing once any information, maybe second time if you are going to access any information from the networking, then sure you need to use the encrypted smart card. On that time it providing some different kind of the token number here. So clear? The encrypted smart card, that means it is a smart card, and every time when you are going to use such a smart card it generating a different kind of the token numbers. So because it generating different kind of the token number, because of this reason it not possible to use again and again or further in this case here. And later next one is about the biometric systems. So this for the most secure level of authorization. Clear this one? It is very secure, or it providing some security to our networking. The security technique name is the biometric system. So such biometric system involve the unique aspect of the person bodies. That means maybe sometime we need to use the person bodies here, aspect of the person body, maybe sometime for the identification of the person here, maybe to identify or to establish the identification here. So just sometime we are going to use the person body aspects like maybe our fingerprints, in this case retinal pattern. And why we using the fingerprints and the retinal pattern? Just to establish the identification of any any person. Clear this point here? So this is about our biometric system. So clear the protection method in case of the biometric system. The authorization means maybe when you want to access any information, he should give a legal login ID here. So if he or she providing a legal login ID, such person is considered to be an authorized user. Okay, and later next one, authentication, that means should give a legal valid password here, or maybe authorized user asking to provide some of the legal valid password. If such person able to provide a legal valid password, then such person is called as the authentic user. Clear? And later encrypted smart card, as we know that it is a smart card and every time it generating different kind of the token number, and such number should recognized by our computer. Okay, because of different kind of the token number, it not possible to our hacker and cracker to access any information from the network. And we know that biometric system just only because it is a very secure or security, it providing very security to our networking here, and such biometric system contains some of the persons aspect or involved in the aspect of the person body, like our fingerprint we can use in our biometric system, otherwise we can use for the fingerprint and the retinal pattern also. So just why we using all those, just to establish the identity of the person. Okay, whether the person is the authorized person or unauthorized person, we can find out just by using all those. Clear? Okay, now later next one is about our firewall. So what about the firewalls here? So I already explained about our gateway. We know that the gateway node is actually or often act as a proxy server and often act as a firewall. So what I said in case of the firewall, so I completed by using the word it is a system, and such a system specially designed to give protection to our network security. That means while going to access the unauthorized, that means here we can say that a system designed to prevent unauthorized access. Correct? No? So such a system, such a we can say that system, okay, designed to prevent, to remove the unauthorized access here to or from a private network. That means we can say that it is also a security tool, and such a security tool if you are going to use, we can give some security to our network here. That means only the authorized person can access all those information. There is no work of the unauthorized person. So just the meaning of the firewall, we can say that a system designed to prevent unauthorized access to or from a private network here. So correct? No? In this case, okay, and such a system or this such design we can implement in our hardware, we can use in our software, or maybe sometime going to use such a security technique method in both hardware and the software. So clear this point here. So such a firewall are frequently used to prevent unauthorized access, and that means from the unauthorized access users and such users connected to the internet in this case here. So how it going to provide the security to the messages? So whatever the messages are going to enter and leaving the network, just going to pass through the firewall. Clear this point? As we know that what's the use of the firewall here, that means here we can say that it just only by using the security, it possible to give some security to the network. So maybe any kind of the information, such information just should pass through the authorized user only. So how it possible? That means whatever the message is that going to enter and leaving the network, just through pass through our firewall only here. Or maybe if no any problem, then the firewall passing information to our next computer. Maybe if any problem is that means it going to block such messages that do not meet the specified criteria of the network security. Clear this point? Maybe he is going to ask some of the legal password, maybe he is going to ask some of the legal ID here, or whatever is there, maybe by using our system like a smart card, or maybe anything, any identification point he is going to ask here. If any person giving correctly all those information, then no any problem, the information going to pass properly from one to another. But maybe if such person not going to give some correct information to any to any computer, to any firewall here, firewall technique, on that time it going to block the message here. So when it going to block the message, if any message not going to give correct information, on that time it going to block the messages that do not meet the specified criteria of the network security. So clear this point? Okay, now we know the meaning of the firewall in this case. Now there are several types of the firewall techniques. So that means all are called as the technique. That means such technique is using just to provide the security to the network here. So there are various types of the firewall technique. First one is the packet filter. Okay, the packet filter, as we know the meaning of the packet. The packet means some of the information is there in the packet. So if you are using such a packet filter firewall, that means it is a security technique mechanism, correct now, and providing security to the network. That means only authorized person should access the information, no work of the unauthorized person. So the first one is the packet filter. So look at each packet or all message that is going to enter and leaving the network, and just accept and reject of the packet based on the user defined rules. Clear? So I already said about if no any problem, just passing the information from one to another. If any problem going to create, that means such person not going to show a correct legal ID, password, each and everything, such message going to block. Correct no here? So like that only they accept and reject of the packet based on the user defined rules. Clear this one? Okay. Now this is about our packet filter, and later next one is about our application gateway. So application, as we know that the application means the specific application. So such security mechanism tool or the technique specially going to apply to the most specific application such as the FTP, file transfer protocol. We know that by using such protocol we can transfer the file from one computer to the another system, correct no? So such security mechanism tool or the gateway specially going to use for a specific application like our FTP and also the telnet servers. Clear this one? And like that here also, maybe if a problem is that means this is very effective technique, effective security tool also. The tool name is the application gateway here. And the third point we can say that the circuit level gateway. So it is a security mechanism tool like other firewall. As we know that in our firewall many types are there here. So we are going to explain one by one, and so maybe you can use any one technique just to give security to the network here. So the third technique is the circuit level gateway here. So it applies security mechanism, there is no doubt it is a security technique mechanism, and when the connection is established, maybe when you are going to make the connection to pass any information from one computer to another computer, so that is called as when connection is established. So once the connection has been made, the packet or all kind of messages can going to flow between the host computer without further checking when you are going to use the circuit level gateway security tool or the technique. Clear this point here? So we can say that in case when you are going to use the security mechanism tool, name is the circuit level gateway here. Once the connection going to establish between the computer, between the host, the packet going to flow between the host computer to one to another without any further checking in this case here. And later next one about our proxy server. What about the proxy server? I already said it is a machine that is not a server but actually appear as a server. So why we using the proxy server? That means maybe here some of the computer is there and here is some of the computer, and between just only to pass all those information in proper method we using some of the mechanism technique. Maybe the one mechanism technique is the proxy server, or maybe we are going to use the application gateway, packet filter, circuit level gateway here. Now I am telling about the proxy server, that means our fourth point here. So here we can say that it is not a machine, correct? No, a machine It is a computer, but that is not actually a server but appear as a server here. So the proxy server specially going to accept, or maybe it going to catch or stop all the messages that are leaving and entering the network. And we know that when it going to stop the messages from the network, maybe if any person not going to show a correct legal ID and the password in this case here. So finally we can say such proxy server effectively provide a true or effectively provide here to hide, or in this case here, true network addresses. Clear this point? It hide the true network addresses. This is about our proxy server in this case. As we know that what's the use of such mechanism, tool or the technique? Such mechanism, tool and technique is using just to provide security to the network here, or maybe it going to catch or stop the messages, whatever the messages going to enter and leave the network here. So finally the proxy server truly provide the high network addresses. Clear this point here? Or it hide the true network addresses. So this is all information about our network security. So clear now about our the problems going to occur: physical security holes, software security holes, inconsistent usage holes, and all are called as the security mechanism technique here. So the protection methods, how to provide protection to the methods. If you are using all those methods properly, then by using such methods technique we can give some security to the network. Authorization, authentication, encrypted smart card, biometric system, and the firewall. And firewall contains some of the types like our packet filter, application gateway, circuit level gateway, and the proxy server. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.